All right, now time for the proofs. So these proofs are from somewhere in your book, either a homework assignment that maybe I wanted to assign and I decided not to, or they were in your notes. So this is prove that angle B is congruent to angle C. You see here that it's an isosceles triangle. So now we're proving that the angles are congruent that goes with it. So I always like to say, mark what the information that's given to you first. So it gives you that M is the midpoint of BC. And I think this is a difficult thing for students to recognize what a midpoint does, especially in the proof that was on the quiz. A lot of people were in the quiz were identifying these two pieces congruent, but it has to be the parts of the segment that it's the midpoint of. It's not just like two random parts. Now, these markings were here already. They were given to you. That means they were given to you. If something's already marked, it's given. It might not be stated here, but if it's marked, then it's given. So if you're looking at this triangle now, we know that the midpoint means that these parts are congruent. So that's because it's a midpoint. And then this dotted line, they want you to recognize that as a shared side. So a shared side is the reflexive property. Now, I tried to help you out with this proof with filling in some things, but not too much because I think you can do it without too much help. AB is congruent to AC. That was already marked. The book already marked that for us, so that's given. The other piece of given information is M is the midpoint of BC. So then you want to think about, what did I mark and why was I able to mark it? I then went and marked these two pieces congruent because it was told that the M is the midpoint. So definition of a midpoint tells me that these two pieces have to be the same. So MB is congruent to MC. And the reason was the definition of midpoint. AM is congruent to AM. Well, anything that's congruent to itself is the reflexive property. Then when there's a triangle congruent to a triangle, you want to think back to the theorems that we've learned. If you look up here at the image, there are no angles marked. This might look like it's a 90-degree angle here, but you can't mark it. You cannot assume anything. So here we have a side, we have a side, we have a side. Side, 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 side. So what option is there except for side, side, side? It has to be side, side, side. There's still another part, there's still another piece that they want you to prove, and it's the last thing. The statement they want you to prove is what goes in the last statement piece. So angle B is congruent to angle C. And when you're proving that a part is congruent to a part, the reason is always CP/CTC. That means corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent.